In this short set of video clips, I will demonstrate a conservative treatment for an ACL tear, and in this case it'll be the progression for perturbation. In this case, my injured ACL will be on my right leg and my non-affected limb is my left leg. We start off the very beginning of the model with our non-affected limb on a stable surface and our affected limb on an unstable surface, a wobble board. In this case, this is just a small balance disc. And from that point on, we will instruct the patient to move their foot anteriorly and posteriorly first for about a minute before asking the patient to go medial and lateral for a minute as well, and then on diagonals both ways. If needed, the therapist can guard the patient, or there can be a handrail or something else for the patient. This is the most basic version. Stable surface, unstable surface. The next step up in the progression goes to a stable surface on the non-affected limb to an even more unstable surface on the affected limb. In this case, this will represent a roller board, which usually is just a flat board with some wheels, and the same thing will be done. It'll be forward and back, medial and lateral before diagonals. In this case, the patient is not moving the roller board. The therapist will be behind the roller board instructing the patient to stay as still as they can on it while they move the roller board anterior posteriorly, medial laterally, and then finally diagonals or even rotational movement. Again, the movements will not be this big or exaggerated, and it will be done for 2 to 3 sets with 1 minute going in each direction. The next step in the progression can be considered level 2, and all movements will also be done for 1 minute in each direction for 2 to 3 sets. Now we've gone to the non-affected limb, and again the affected limb. The affected limb will stand on our wobble board or balance disc, and the therapist or a safeguard can be placed near the patient or a handrail so that they can balance themselves in case they feel too unstable and they feel like they're going to fall. But now I've completely put my weight on the unstable surface and I've lifted the non-affected limb, and I'll do the same movements. Forward, back, medial, lateral, diagonal, in both directions. Again, this is done for 1 minute in each direction for 2 to 3 sets. The final progression is to replace the wobble board with a roller board. The patient's non-affected limb will be held in the air, and the patient's affected limb will support their entire body weight on the roller board. Remember, the therapist moves the roller board anteriorly, posteriorly, medial, lateral, then diagonals before doing rotational movements. These are going to be my handrails to help support me as the patient, and I'm going to put my body weight onto the roller board while holding my non-affected limb up. My therapist is now pushing the roller board back and forth, medial, lateral, diagonals, and then small circular motions. Each movement or direction will be done for 1 minute's time, and after all directions are done, that counts as 1 set, and 2 to 3 sets will be done for the entire movement.